Hello class 8. Today we are going to learn glimpses of past. It is a story which gives insight into India's history before independence. India's history before independence. So this lesson is a history which gives a answer to a question. That is, what led to India's freedom struggle. When we go through the lesson, we understand, we get the answer to this question. What led to India's freedom struggle? Now, British. When British came into India, their aim was to establish trade. Their aim was to establish only trade. They didn't desire to make colony in India. But when they reached here, they found that there are loopholes in the administration by Indians. Loopholes, they found that because Indian princes were fighting with each other. And they asked the help of British to defeat one another. So they found a loophole in the administration by Indians. So what they decided, they took control over the country. So they took control over the country and enforced various laws and taxes. They started forcing Indians to pay taxes and they made certain laws and started interrupting in the administration of India. So there came preachers like Rajaram Mohan Roy, and he inspired people to fight for freedom, and the struggle for freedom started in 1857. Now let's go through the lesson and understand different events took place before independence. Let's go through the vocabulary. Glimpses, it's a noun. A quick or incomplete look. Looking quickly, okay? And owed. Owed is filled with respect. The soldiers are expected. O, okay? Towering. Towering is very high or very tall. Tower, you heard about tower. Okay, that's also, it's an adjective. Okay? Undertaking. Undertaking means a task attempted. Doing. Okay, doing a task. Okay? Attempting to do a task. Hold. Hold is move due to hard work. See here in this lesson, because of the struggle taken by the Indians, something is happening that British, we are able to protest against British. That's it. Massive. Massive is an adjective, and extremely large things are called massive. Okay? Precaution, an action to protest against. We take a precaution against something. Okay? Medicine also we take a precaution. Okay, correct? Yeah. Crumble. Crumble is break. Become pieces, small pieces. Okay? Prosper, to succeed. Financially, become rich. Okay? Understand? So now let's go to the lesson and go through reading the lesson and understanding it.
First part, the martyrs. A person who suffer great or die for the sake of his country. At a function in Delhi, Lata Mangeshkar sang, "O my countrymen, let your eyes fill with tears as you recall the sacrifices of India's martyrs. जो शहीद हुए हैं उनकी जरा याद करो कुर्बानी. Let's salute all our great leaders and martyrs who suffered and shed their blood for the sake of freedom, who brought liberty and independence to our country. The company's conquest 1757 to 1849. With its superior weapons, the British East India Company was extending its power in 18th century India. Look at the image. India, 1765. The yellow color represents the Indian princess. These parts were under the control of Indian princess and British territory as pinkish color areas. Indian princes were short-sighted. See here, we can see an image of a prince. He says that upstart Rajaba called the British merchant. They will help me to defeat him. Here he is asking to call a British merchant to defeat his own cousin. The people had no peace due to such constant fight. The princes were fighting with each other and the people in India lost their peace. The rivalries helped the East India Company and it could easily subdue Indian princes one by one. British understood the loopholes in the administration of Indian princes. Far-seeing rulers like brave Tipu Sultan of Mysore fought the British till died fighting. But there were leaders like Tipu Sultan who fought against British rules and they shed their life for the sake of freedom. Now let's see the reaction of the people to this conquest. How did Indians react to this conquest? Thank God there is peace in the country now. No more wars or no looting by tongues. It is God who sent the British. Our destiny is linked with him. The white man has killed or dethroned our kings. Some kings were not good, but after all, they were of this land. Now we have become slaves of foreigners. Some people thinking the British as a great God-sent people, and in others' words, it is they understand they become the slaves of foreigners. Third part, British rule 1765 to 1836. Religious leaders preached ideas like untouchability and child marriage. Anyone who crosses the seas loses his religion. All the misery in the world is due to women. The people in India were having certain rules and regulations which make themselves down. The truth was that Indians had low self-respect. The British scorned them. See, let's see the discussion between two British men. The natives are unworthy of trust, incapable of honesty. Now let's listen to a man who is standing there, an Indian, saying, "True, Your Honor, but I am honest." See how they are blaming themselves. Being merchant, the British wanted quick profit. The heavy taxes forced farmers to abandon their field. Now let's see the condition of the farmers. You are still in arrears. If you don't pay next time, I will send you to jail. Here they were asking for taxes, and people are saying, "But your men are taking all my crop." The situation they made that they could not pay taxes and they had to abandon their lands. Still, the British invented other methods which gave them more profit. They were thinking, they had business mind and they were thinking to get profit from India. The goods manufactured in England should not have any import duty when brought into India. Yeah, good idea. The East India Company's laws began to cripple Indian industries. Inevitability famine followed between 1822 and 1836. 15 lakhs Indians died of starvation. The British policies ruined the expert artisans and the business. See, each and every rule that were made by British crippled all Indians and they lost everything. Even they suffered starvation. And artists and all the as businessmen, everyone were in trouble. Fourth part. Ram Mohan Roy, 1772 to 1833. When the situation grew worse and worse, there came great leaders like Raja Ram Mohan Roy. Superstitions have been ruining us. He was attracted by science and modern knowledge. Knowledge should be practical and scientific. He started newspapers, but the suspicions British stopped them in 1823. Now listen what the words of Raja Ram Mohan Roy to his wife. He told his wife Uma, "Cows are of different colors, but the color of their milk is the same. Different teachers have different opinion, but the essence of every religion is the same." He crossed the seas and went to England to see what made the British powerful. There he taught them, "We accept you as rulers and you must accept us as subjects. But you must remember the responsibility a ruler owes to his subjects." He is a great reformer who tried to bring forth freedom in India, as well as he tried to fight against child marriage and sati. Part 5. Oppression, 1765 to 1835. But the British continued to oppress Indians in 1818. They had passed Regulation 3. Under it, an Indian could be jailed without trial in court. All the time, British officers in India drew big salaries and also made fortunes in private business. Look at the situation of Indians and the British. See, the Indians were put to jail without trial in a court, and in the same time, British were getting big salaries and made fortunes in private business. Now, by 1829, Britain was exporting British goods worth 7 crores rupees to India. How rich they were becoming. British proposed on the company's loot while Indian industries began to die. Now, the death of Indian industries and the growth of British industries took place. The Governor General Bandrick reported back home, "The bones of cotton weavers are bleaching the plains of..." These lines means the Indian weavers lost their occupation. The renowned handloom productions of India was ruined. It was a misery to the weavers and to the country as well. We know that in this situation, the Indians lost their business, exporting, importing, everything, and it was the death of Indian industries, while the British were growing up. They were growing to a good position. Now everything was under the control of British. Part 6. Dissatisfaction, 1835 to 56. Education in India was in Persian and Sanskrit. In 1835, an Englishman named Macaulay suggested a change. We should teach the natives through the English language. I agree. English education produced clerks to whom the British gave petty jobs under them. Incidentally, it also produced a new generation of intellectuals. We must educate our brothers and try to improve their material conditions. For that, we must convey our grievances to the British. And now, Indians started growing under British rule, and they were now educated, and their material condition also were growing. Look at the image. By 1856, the British had conquered the whole of India. The states of India were in yellowish color and the British areas are in pinkish. They cared a little about the needs of Indians. Our kings have become puppets and we have lost our old jobs and lands. They are converting our brothers. You only talk. Do something to drive them out. Here I would like to mention the meaning of little. Here they cared little about the needs of Indians. Little here means nothing. When we write a little, that is a little bit. Okay? Here little means nothing. They cared nothing about the needs of Indians. 7. The Sparks, 1855 to 57. The situation in Bengal. There was a spark in 1855. Taxes continued to ruin the peasants in Bengal. The Santals, who had lost their lands under new land rules, became desperate. In 1855, they rose in rebellion and massacred Europeans and their supporters alike. Discontent was brewing in the East India Company's army too. The white soldiers get huge pay, mansions to live in, servants, while we get a pittance and slow promotions. The Angreses ask us to cross the sea, which is against our religion. Who is the Topiwala to abolish our age-old customs. We must drive out the angresses. Thousands of our sepoys revolted. They were stripped of their uniform, humiliated, and put in irons. See, here we can see the how the Indian soldiers were humiliated. They were getting less salary and they were shown partiality. And we could see when they revolt against it, they were stripped of their uniforms and they were humiliated and put into prisons too. Suppose Mangal Pandey attacked the adjutant of his regiment and was executed. Now Mangal Pandey is fighting against this and he was executed. Few Englishmen cared to understand Indian customs or the people's mind. Oh, proud Brahmin soldiers, do you know that grease on the bullet you have to bite is made from the fat of cows and pigs, and Brahmins were given the bullets which was made up of fat of cows and pigs? What the white man has deceived us to. Soon the chaplains were sent from village to tell the people that their emperor would want their service. Yes, all my village men will be ready. Similarly, lotus flowers circulated among Indian soldiers. Death to the foreigners. The masses gave all help and shelter to the patriots. Now the revolt against the British started. They understood that their rulers now, the British army and British people were their enemies. Part 8, Revolt, 1857. Then there was a violent outbreak at Meerut. The sepoys marched to Delhi. Long live our Emperor Bahadur Shah. Now the revolts against the British started at Meerut. The rebellion spread wider. Many landlords had lost their lands because of the British policies and they were sore. The white man's rule must end. Yes, we will help you. And now all the Indian princes joining together to protest against the British. The fight for freedom, 1857. Many former rulers like Begum Hassan Mahal of Lucknow were bitter. The white man has taken away my kingdom. They joined the outrage against the foreigner. Popular leaders like Maulavi Ahmadullah of Faisalabad told the people, "Rise, brothers, rise! The Angresis is running our land." The people rose everywhere in Bali, Kanpur, and Allahabad. Azimullah Khan told Tantia Topi, "We should have Peshwanana Sahib as our leader in this war of independence." 80 years old Kanpur Singh of Bihar received a bullet in his wrist. "Mother Ganga, this is my last offering to you." See, the patriot pounced upon the British and fought pitched battles all over North India. See, we could see all the leaders who fought for freedom, for independence, and they shed their blood for the sake of freedom. Individual may die, but that idea will, after his death, incarnate itself in 1,000 lives.
I love my India. Jai Hind.